Okay, well, welcome back. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add to what we did in the previous module, and let's just quickly fix this back up. What we're going to do now is we're going to talk about the document.write command, and this one is actually going to show up on the form itself, so we can actually see it outside of the console. So I'm just going to put that back, and below this, I'm going to do a document.write. And when I do this, I can specify the exact same type of stuff that I just did in the previous statement. So in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste it. Put that right in here right now, get our semicolon. Let's save, and let's go over to Chrome, and let's run our program. And we actually get the result. I'm getting that period in there because I guess I actually wrote that in there. Let's go take a look. Where is that coming from? I don't know where that's coming from, to be honest. 5 plus 6 equals... Oh, that's not a period. Pardon me, that's the canvas itself. That little border around the canvas. Sorry about that. So what we're actually seeing here is the result, and we're seeing it on the screen. Now again, as I said before, we can start adding in those tags. So let's bold the equation itself. And now when we run it, Control S to save, we should get a bolded 5 plus 6, which we do. We can add any HTML tags we want. That's not really the point of this course. If you want to learn that, you can go off and learn the tags yourself. There are a few that are important. The major one that is useful is being able to do a line break. So in order to write our text onto another line, a line break is just done as BR inside the angled brackets. We don't have to, sorry, in this case I'm putting it here because if I don't, then it's getting put right beside the canvas. I want to put it below the canvas. So if we run our program, come back here, run it again, we actually see it show up below the canvas. It's not bolded anymore because I took away the bolded tags. Again, we can go back, and if I wanted to, I could add another break right here. Now when I run it, oops. Now when I run it back here, the 11 goes on the next line. So there are a few other things as well that we can put inside of our code, inside of our text. Sorry. There's a special thing called an escape sequence, and an escape sequence is trying to inject text inside of existing text that may be confusing. So for example, what if I actually wanted a quotation inside my text? What if I wanted to put quotations around the 5 plus the 6? I couldn't go like this. That is not going to solve the problem. That's going to give me an error because it's thinking I have other text and then I have this text. It's not being concatenated and it's all confused. So let's backtrack a little bit. We can do it down here as well. I'm just going to get rid of the line breaks to simplify the readability of this code. HTML can be cumbersome and messy at times. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to add an escape sequence, and the way I do an escape sequence is I start it off with a backslash, and that backslash is telling the program that the next character represents something special. So in this case, I'm going to follow it up with a quote. So that doesn't actually break my statement because I preceded it with that backslash. And I want to end it right after the 6 with another quote. So another backslash and another quote. Now when I run my program, we get an error. Invalid left-hand side statement, main.js on our statement. So let's go over to our source. And I broke something in the console.log. I'm not sure what I broke in the console.log. Let's go back to the code, take a look at that. It's saying that we have an error on this line. I don't see an error. Let's just comment it out for now and make sure that is the actual problem. Oh, I see the problem. Over here, we have that extra equal sign. It has nothing to do with that console.log statement. So now let's run our program again. And we actually get the quotes this time with the 5 and the 6. We go back and we take a look at the code, see how that actually worked out. So we had quote that represented the start of the string. Then I had the backslash quote that said, hey, put an actual quotation mark in there. Then another one after the 6. And then I ended the string with a regular quote, and I concatenated the result of 5 plus 6. You can see our stuff's getting a little bit confusing now, but it's just to show you all the different control mechanisms. We can actually do single quotes, and we could do we could actually put a backslash itself in there. Otherwise, how else would you put a backslash in there? You couldn't just put a backslash because it would think it would be an escape sequence. And there are some other escape sequences as well, but they don't work with all the commands. Things like /n, which means new line, /t, which means a tab, stuff like that. So for example, if I put a new line right here, well, let's not put it there, let's put it right here. In theory, that should add a new line to the console output statement. And we go run our program, hit F5, and we go to our console. And we got another error message. What did I break this time? Line 11. We got an extra quote in there, I believe, somewhere. Yes, we do. We got to get rid of that and that. We're trying to get rid of all these silly statements that we just had. And that. There we go. Let's try again. Trying to do too much at once. Alright, so now we get our slashes in there, as we said. And in the console, you can see that the new line command actually worked inside the console.log, the /n. And if we do a /n, let's say we also do a /t. Control S, go back in here, and we hit F5, and the tab actually gets applied as well. So those types of things will work for your console.log statement, but those escape sequences don't work well for the document.write. So if I put a /n in here, it won't break it, but it just won't do what we want it to do. It won't actually do the /n. What the document.write statement, as well as the alert statement do, it essentially takes any white space, which means a new line, a space, a tab, or anything like that, and just converts it into a single space. So we just don't get anything useful out of it. So there's no point in using it. So when you're using document.write or the alert command, you're pretty much going to stick to the single quote, the double quote, and the backslash for your escape sequences. Oops, I broke something. I didn't mean to do that. Go back. All right. Now, we're just going to go back and up in here, we have one more command to do, which is our alert command. Alert works very similar, but it serves a different purpose. Document.write obviously puts text on the screen for the user to read. The next thing, an alert command, is very, very intrusive, and you should use it very sparingly. An alert command is kind of like, well, you're trying to alert the user to something, and so you try and do it in the most offensive and intrusive way possible. So we're going to say, error. Something is broke. That's really the only time you should be using an alert, is when something went wrong and you need to get the user's attention. So all I did was write the keyword alert, and inside the brackets I supplied it with the text needed to do the alert command. So if I save this and we run the program, you'll see something a little bit different this time. We actually get the message, error, something is broke. And I can hit OK. And then the program will just continue as normal. If I run the program again, you see this time it gives me the option to prevent this page from creating additional dialogues. Don't click that. If you click that, that means all your future testing isn't going to be very useful, because any alert command you do is not actually going to show up. So just hit OK. So again, the alert command should be used very, very sparingly. It shouldn't be used in your common programs unless you're doing it for error handling or anything like that that allows you to really work with stuff. So in the next module, what we're going to do is we're going to look at two more complex text output statements that are more on the graphical side of things that you can use inside the canvas. Yeah, well, that's about it. Okay, thank you for watching, and